launched the Creator Studio back in January, a subscription that bundles together some of the biggest creative apps. Now, normally I'd be exactly the person Apple would be pitching this to. I make videos, I edit photos, and I work on my Mac every day. The problem is, I already own most of this stuff. I bought Final Cut Pro back in 2020, Motion a couple years later, Pixelmator, Photomator. I even bought all of the Affinity apps before they were acquired by Canva. So when Apple announced this subscription, my first reaction wasn't, where do I sign up? It was, who exactly is this for? Before we can figure out who this is actually for, we should probably talk about what Apple is actually selling. If you're looking to make videos, the biggest inclusion here is Final Cut Pro, Apple's professional video editor, and honestly, the main reason people consistently stay on the Mac ecosystem. Then there's Motion, which is sort of Final Cut's companion app for graphics, tiles, effects, and animation. And then there's Compressor, which most people probably wouldn't touch every day, but it's there for exporting and delivering projects in different formats. Apple isn't giving you a video editor. It's giving you an entire video production workflow. On the audio side, you have Logic Pro, which is basically Apple's answer to pro tools like Ableton and other professional music software for years. If you're producing music, recording vocals, or building beats, editing podcasts, it all happens here. This shows that Apple isn't targeting the YouTubers/video creators, they're targeting musicians and audio creators too. Then you get Pixelmator Pro, and possibly in the future, Photomator. Now, this is where things start to get interesting because neither of these apps started with Apple. Apple acquired the Pixelmator team and brought both apps into its ecosystem. Pixelmator Pro is your Photoshop style editor, while Photomaker focused on organizing, editing, and processing photos into libraries. So if Final Cut is for video creators, these are basically Apple's growing answer for photographers. And when you zoom out, that's when this bundle starts to make more sense. Video, photo, audio, graphics, exporting. It's basically every major creative category under one subscription. And that's when math starts looking a little different. I started thinking about it from the perspective of someone who's getting started. Imagine a student. They want to learn video editing, or maybe they're interested in photography. Maybe they want to start a podcast, or maybe they're experimenting in graphic design. The old version of this journey involved making a bunch of purchasing decisions before you even knew if you liked it. Now, instead of asking, do I buy Final Cut Pro? Do I buy Logic or Pixelmator? The answer becomes, how about I try everything? And honestly, that's a pretty different perspective, which is when I realized Apple probably wasn't bundling this for people who already own everything. I think the easiest way to understand the Creative Studio is by looking at who Apple is trying to bring in. My first thought is students. Let's say you're a college student studying film, marketing, communications, photography, whatever. You know you need creative software, you just don't know which software. And that's a pretty common problem. Most people don't know if they're going to become a photographer, editor, graphic designer, podcaster, or some combination of all four. Students get access to a bunch of professional tools before committing to any of them. Then there are people who are just starting. Maybe they're editing from CapCut, or maybe they're using iMovie. Maybe they're making content entirely from their phone. They jump from beginner software to professional software, and it starts feeling a bit intimidating. Creator Studio makes that jump smaller. Apple removes some of the risk of trying pro software. Freelancers are another interesting group because a lot of freelancers wear multiple hats. One day they might be editing a video, Next day, you're designing a thumbnail, then you're cleaning up photos, then you're mixing audio. The ability to move between all those tools without making separate purchases looks pretty appealing. And at that moment, they have a choice. They can move to Final Cut, or they could leave Apple's ecosystem entirely. Creative Studio makes staying a much easier decision. It's not just attracting new creators, it's retaining existing Apple users before they jump ship. And once I started looking at it that way, the strategy became a lot cleaner, because it isn't a bundle designed for experts, it's a bundle designed to create future experts. Because the more I thought about it, the less it felt like a software bundle. It felt more of an entry point. Think about it. Apple doesn't have to convince you to buy Final Cut anymore, or Pixelmator, or Logic. They just have to convince you to try them. And that's when the strategy starts emerging. And if that sounds familiar, it's because it's a playbook that's been seen before. Adobe spent years turning individual apps into a creator ecosystem. Photoshop wasn't just a product anymore, Creative Cloud was. But there's one reason this comparison isn't perfect. Because whenever a company launches a subscription, creators tend to have some reaction. And honestly, I get it. One of the reasons I bought Final Cut back in 2020 was because I knew I owned it. Same with Motion, same with Pixelmator. I paid once and that was it. Which brings me back to this original question. Who is this for? Because after looking at everything included, the pricing, and who's it's aimed for, I don't really think it's really about the software at all. I think it's about lowering the barrier into Apple's creative system. And here's the funny part. Even though I probably am not the target customer, I actually kind of like it. I think it's a great deal because I spend my time editing. I spend my time recording videos, mixing up audio, making sure music's good, as well as making my own graphic designs. So even though I've spent over, let's say $500 on buying the suite by itself, I still own the subscription. Because later down the line, if I want to try creating my own music, if I want to make it easier to record podcasts, it's there. And even though for me, I believe this is a good deal, I say go ahead and try it. It makes things easier as a creative knowing that you have the tools that you need. And as always, learn, create, and share.